Hello and welcome to the quarterfinals of Grand Prix Denver. We've got the last game of the quarterfinals for you guys. Donnie Peck on the left-hand side of your screen, facing off against Vidi Wijaya on the right-hand side of your screen. Both of them are playing the Esper Stoneblade deck. There you get a good look at their deck list. This deck first came from Tom Martell's
You get a look at the deck list, yeah.
championship win at Grand Prix Indianapolis.
Uh-huh.
The interesting thing about his deck was he's one of the first people to use Lingering Souls in the Stoneforge Mystic decks in Legacy. And we see these two powerful decks clashing against each other here in the top 8. A couple differences between the two, but they've already gone to Game 3. Sounds like Donnie lost his last game just barely. There are a couple top-decked Lingering Souls, a Disenchant on a Batterskull from Vidi to finish Donnie off. So Donnie will be on the play for this third and final game of the quarterfinals. The players seem to still be making their mulligan decisions. You see a Geist of St. Traff flashed from Vidi's sideboard, which shows you that it doesn't seem like he's going to be playing Geist of St. Traff. No. We were talking about that in the pregame.
Yeah, it's an interesting possibility, but it doesn't seem like a very good play. No time limit here.
None.
We're gonna take you to the end of this match. We're gonna get there together.
And then we will go to our semi-finals. Again, this is an important match because the winner of this will be qualified for Pro Tour Dragon Maze. I do not believe either of these players are qualified.
All right, now we'll get a little better look at their lists here.
So you see they're very, very similar. The sideboards are a little different.
Oh, very nice. Thank you, Rashad. Got a misspelling there, but who cares? Thoughtseize. It's the French one, right? All right.
Yeah, it's probably because he didn't use a sweet online app. But there you see the list. We talked about some of the slight differences. The main deck Elspeth for Donnie Peck versus having some other main deck cards on Vidi's side.
I like the Elspeth a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty sweet. Donnie also has a main deck Venser, which Vidi does not have access to. The Vindicate, though, on Vidi's side was probably powerful for him throughout the day. I don't know if he decided to keep that in. It's a good answer to some of the troublesome artifacts, some of the troublesome equipment, and the troublesome planeswalkers that are found in Donnie's deck. So these players are doing a thorough job of shuffling. They get to see quite a bit of their decks.
This is a huge game for these guys. This is the quarters. They really want to make it to the semis. The winner's going to get an invite to the next Pro Tour.
And a lot more cash.
And a lot more cash, which is a big draw here. Okay.
Yeah, it's quite an important game. Vidi Wijaya, a player from Southern California. Donnie Peck, I believe, is from Kansas.
For those of you that haven't seen Vidi's deck on camera yet, and if you like awesome versions of Magic cards, Vidi has a really beautiful deck. We're talking Guru lands, Beta duels. This thing is beautiful for those of you that are into that. I'll also remind you that Ben and I are going to be speaking a little bit more quietly than normal here because there's still quite a few people roaming around, but we don't want even the chance that they're going to hear us, and our booth isn't that far from the feature match area. So
it's also unfortunately not soundproof.
It's not a soundproof booth, no. But Rashad's turned us up a little bit, and if you need to, make sure that you do that. But we're going to be speaking a little bit quieter than normal. Even if we get excited, we're going to try to keep our voices down. All right, so let's see who of the Esper Stoneblade players is going to get there. All right, Thoughtseize to kick things off, so we're going to get a lot of information right off the bat. It looks like land, Stoneforge Mystic. There's a Brainstorm adjacent to Mind Sculptor. And what's that other card?
I want to say that's Zealous Persecution.
Okay, it is, yeah.
I can't quite 100% sure tell. Yeah, it looks like Zealous Persecution. That spell is a black and white. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1. And
it's an instant, too.
Yeah. Stoneforge Mystic, of course, is going to be taken by Donnie Peck here. The very, very important 2-drop for the deck.
Is that where you're keeping your graveyard?
A very easy thing to take. So you see Vidi draw his card for the turn. It's a Tundra, and he's going to slam down that Underground Sea and Seago. Donnie now has a chance to play his turn 2 Mystic, unmolested if he chooses. First, he's going to crack the Flooded Strand, go find a Tundra, and yep, play Stoneforge Mystic, going to search his library again.
And he knows that VD only has one unknown card, and so he felt pretty confident to just slam that Stoneforge Mystic down, and that's a big early play for Donnie here.
Yeah, that's huge. That's the
He now
dream
has
start for this deck.
It really is, yeah, taking away something key. But VD is going to start the momentum going in his direction with a Brainstorm on end step.
It is end of turn, interesting.
Yep, he's digging.
So you have to imagine that he thinks he's going to be Mana Light on his next turn. He wants to be able to draw something he normally couldn't have and cast on the following turn, because normally you want to wait until you have a fetch land to cast that Brainstorm. So you can shuffle away the bad cards. In this case, you're going to see the same cards you've already seen. You're not seeing anything new on your draw set.
I think he had a fetch land in his opener. Yeah, he had that Marsh Flats.
Oh, so this was during his main phase.
And it was during his main phase, yep.
That's fine.
All right, so Donnie is going to Brainstorm himself again during his main phase. Draw 3. You see Stoneforge, Island, and was it Academy Ruins?
Yep.
Or?
The one of Academy Ruins in Donnie's deck.
Yep.
Both players have one of Academy Ruins. An important answer to artifact removal. So now he plays that Academy Ruins and passes the turn back. No, he's just going to get that Batter Skull out there as quickly as possible.
Same reason.
Is there any reason to do it right now?
I'm not sure. And you see him put in a Germ token, flashing past a Tim Ayton token. He uses those for the spirits of Lingering Souls.
Okay.
Very likely Tim's watching at home. Donnie is, he's taking him under his wing, showing him the way of the magic cards. So.
Is that right?
Yeah. So Tundra's going to
working well so far.
Yeah. Tundra's going to get fetched out by Marsh Flats. Jarvis, you mentions that perhaps he did that because of Vendilion Click.
Okay. Yeah, because you can, if you activate Stoneforge Mystic, it puts an ability on the stack that allows you to put in a equipment if you wish. But while that ability is on the stack, you can get a Vendilion clicked, and they can take away your
Stoneforge Mystic drawn for VD. So that's going to let him get his Batter Skull, or maybe something else, likely Batter Skull.
Legacy Redux players,
Jitte doesn't seem like it would do a ton here.
Legacy players, pairings are now optional.
Yep, Batter Skull. So both players have Batter Skull at their disposal. VD passes it back to Donnie Peck. Donnie's got another Stoneforge Mystic. Let's see if he wants to do that or throw down a Lingering Souls. He's going to attack in for 4 first, dropping VD down to 15. Donnie's going to go to 21. And he does cast that Lingering Soul, so he'll put 2 1/1 Flying Spirit tokens to play, represented by Timothy Ayton. And now it's VD's turn. He does still have that Zealous Persecution in his hand that Donnie saw. So that can be used to wipe out those tokens when VD chooses. But he likely wants to wait for Donnie to flash back that Lingering Souls to get a little bit more value.
Yeah, you got to get maximum value. He passes his turn back. See what Donnie has. Draws an island.
So now Donnie is thinking what he wants to do. He's got Intuition and Supreme Verdict in his hand, along with a second Stoneforge Mystic.
He's going to attack in for 6, and Vidi's going to take it. He's going to drop him down to 9. He's going to put Donnie back up to 25.
Interesting that Vidi didn't want to use Stoneforge Mystic to put in a Batter Skull there.
Mm-hmm. If he does have Zealous Persecution, he can win a Batter Skull fight.
Yeah. And
can't do both this turn, though.
Donnie's going to play the other Stoneforge Mystic, searching up another equipment in his deck. Either a Umezawa's Jite or a Sword of Feast and Famine if he decided to bring that in. I assume that it's Jite, and there you go. You see the Umezawa's Jite, the important card from Betrayers of Kamigawa.
Mm-hmm. And that's particularly good here just because it kills opposing spirit tokens.
Yeah, Umezawa's Jite, you can equip to a creature, and when that creature deals combat damage, it gets 2 charge counters. You can remove a charge counter to do one of 3 things. Give target creature -1/-1, gain 2 life, or give the equipped creature +2/+2.
Right.
So, yeah, powerful against...
Usually it's really good against creature-based decks, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's good just in general.
Yeah.
The +2/+2 ability is relevant. Gaining life's the least of the abilities, the least good of the abilities, but still important. And end of turn, VD's going to put in a Batter Skull using Stoneforge Mystic's ability. Gets a Germ token. It's currently a 4/4 thanks to Batter Skull.
See that he has a Swords of Plowshares in his hand. It looks like he's thinking about using it.
Use it on the opposing Germ token?
I guess.
Yep.
He doesn't exactly that. It's going to put Donnie up even higher. He's at 29 now. Well, let's see if Vidi can figure out a way here. Did he draw Vendilion Click or a counterspell?
Not sure, but VD is going to attack him with his Germ token. So a little life back and forth. Donnie's going to take it. VD's going to go up to 13. Donnie's going to go down to 25.
And Vidi does not have a land drop this turn. I see that he had a Jace the Mind Sculptor in hand, but even though Donnie was tapped out, he wasn't able to play. He doesn't have enough lands.
So now Donnie can equip one of his Spirit tokens with the Umezawa's Jite and attack in. And Donnie's considering using that Zealous, or Vidi's considering using that Zealous Persecution. He does, but now Donnie has the opening to flashback the Lingering Souls. So maybe it's just how he wrote it up. But
he does exactly that, but it gets Spell Pierced by Vidi. So Vidi stabilized pretty well here. There's 2 Stoneforge Mystics and a Batter Skull with no Germ token versus a Stoneforge Mystic for Vidi plus his Batter Skull, although it's still on the Germ token. But there's also a Jite on the side of Donnie Peck that he can start using once he gets it on one of those Stoneforge Mystics. He's gonna have to lose the Mystic to do it, so he's got a bit of work to do. This is going to be Jace the Mind Sculptor here.
Yeah, that Caracas allows him to cast it and gives him a powerful ability with the Vendilion Click in his hand.
And he just bounced a Stoneforge Mystic?
Yeah, looks that way.
Okay, so now leaves Donnie with just 1 creature left, which of course won't be able to get through thanks to Batter Skull. What do you think of that, bouncing the Stoneforge?
That's interesting. It's not too bad because you have to assume that Donnie didn't bring in the Sword of Feast and Famine, so he's got no other equipment in his deck to search up.
Mm-hmm.
And he already has a Stoneforge Mystic in place. I mean, you're just depriving him of the creature. You're not depriving him of being able to put in equipment. There's no equipment that you're afraid of, really. So
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't think that Donnie had too many great attacks here unless he had a Swords of Plowshares or something anyway, but see what Donnie wants to do here. See that he's got that intuition. I believe he also has a Lingering Souls in hand.
Yep, and along with
the Stoneforge that
Sealed Series players, you're standing in opposing at table 102 and 103.
Donnie taking his time to think, a very important turn. He's facing down quite a bit.
Looks like he's going to go for an equip here.
Okay.
And he's going to attack Jace with his Stoneforge Mystic.
VD's going to likely chump block here.
Yep.
The 4/5 Stoneforge Mystic.
He could double block.
Or the 5-6, sorry. Stoneforge Mystic.
Oh, it's a 5-6, you're right.
Yeah.
So double block doesn't do anything. So he does, in fact, just chump with Stoneforge. He's going to keep his Jace alive, and he wants to take a look at Donnie's graveyard. See Academy Runes on the top there. And Vidi's going to take a look at his as well.
Do you think maybe he drew a Snapcaster Mage?
What do you look at his opponents, though?
Try to throw him off the trace?
Yeah, that's true. Just because he wanted to look at his own graveyard.
So Jace is going to return that Stoneforge Mystic to Donnie's hand. Vidi's going to get him for 4, and now the tables have turned. Vidi's at 21, Donnie's at 22.
Standard seal players, pairings are now available.
A Jace drawn for Donnie is huge here.
Does he have to just play it right now and get rid of Vidi's Jace as well, or can he start playing some Lingering Souls? Oh, it looks like he's going to play some Lingering Souls here. And he's going to flash it back as well. And this is going to give him the best opportunity to get his own Jace down and actually be able to use it.
Yeah.
Because 4 Lingering Souls tokens with 2 very good equipment out is pretty tough. And Vidi's going to need to find a way to deal with it. And it is Zealous Persecution off of a Snapcaster Mage. You were correct with your read there, sir, and it completely wipes the board.
I wonder if...
pretty standard 2-for-1 for Vidi there.
If Donnie did that play because he assumed he didn't have a Snapcaster Mage. Because he looked at Donnie's sideboard, or Donnie's graveyard first.
It absolutely could be the case.
So brainstorming for Vidi here. Trying to figure out which 2 cards he wants to put back. This is not the actual spell Brainstorm, but the 0 ability on Jace does the same thing. Draw 3, put 2 back. And he's found a couple of cards. You have to imagine with the number of turns that Vidi has been able to use Jace, the advantage he's gained should be insurmountable. Inquisition of Kozilek for Vidi. He's going to reveal Donnie's hand of Jace the Mind Sculptor, Supreme Verdict, 2 Stoneforge Mystics, and a Intuition.
This is interesting because you say that about Jace, but he did unsummon twice with Jace, and then this is the first time that he's actually gotten to brainstorm. But is he just going to take Jace so he can keep his? Right now, Donnie is tapped out. He's going to get rid of Intuition here.
Interesting they got rid of Intuition.
That is interesting. Vidi does have board currently in his favor, though. And Intuition is a way that Donnie can get himself out of that situation. Where even if Jace resolves, Vidi still has reasonable board position, and Donnie would have to spend basically his turn doing it.
Donnie's in a little bit of trouble here, facing down 6 power and the Jace. He can spend the turn to play his own Jace to kill the Jace. He's going to try to do that. Is there a counterspell on the other side of the table? Nope, and both Jaces will die.
But Vidi knew that was going to happen. He took away the Intuition with that knowledge in mind.
And now 2 mana's probably going to be a recast Stoneforge Mystic.
Stoneforge Mystic as a Squire here, pretty unimpressive. It already did its work, though, as both equipment that are on the battlefield are a result of Stoneforge Mystics.
Okay.
Sealed Super Series players in the top 16.
Vidi trying to figure out what he can do here to close out this game and make his way to the semifinals.
For anybody just tuning in, We're watching Vidianto, who is going to, it looks like
Disenchant
the Jitte is what he looks like he wants to do here. It should be the batter skull, though, right?
Yeah, probably the batter skull.
It is indeed the batter skull. And he's playing against Donnie Peck. This is the quarterfinals of the top 8 here from Grand Prix Denver's Legacy. And both of these players are tied at 1 game apiece, so the winner of this is going to advance to the semis. They're also going to get their invite to Pro Tour Dragon's Maze. This is a huge game for both of these players. And it looks like Stoneforge is going to trade with Snapcaster Mage, but that still means that Donnie's going to take 4 more from... Oh, wow.
Another Jace
batter
for
skull,
Vidi.
but Jace the Mind Sculptor to follow up, and he's immediately going to go for the Brainstorm effect here. And Vidi's really making a big push here to win this game. Early on, Donnie Peck looked like he was off to a great start with a turn 1 Thoughtseize into a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic. But since then, Vidi has had 2 Jace the Mind Sculptors. One of them got legend ruled by another one, but he's got a backup Jace the Mind Sculptor here, and we're going to see Donnie play and equip Umezawa's Jitte to the Stoneforge Mystic here.
Engineered explosives for 2.
It's going to be for 2, and he's going to be able to take out both the Jitte and the Stoneforge Mystic here, and he does in fact do that right away. He's going to brainstorm here, and it looks like Vidi's in the driver's seat. What can Donnie get to get out of this? If he just gets rid of the batter skull, I mean, he's still in a pretty bad spot, right?
Yeah, I don't think he has anything to get him out of here. I'm looking at his list. I mean, I guess he could cast that Supreme Verdict in his hand.
He's got a brainstorm here, so let's see what he draws. Spell Pierce,
Zealous Persecution.
Zealous Persecution. So none of these are particularly good. He needs things that deal with permanents that are already on the battlefield, especially Jace the Mind Sculptor. The batter skull, however, is a very pressing issue as it's currently a 2-turn clock right now. Does Donnie have a fetch land up? Yeah, he's got a Polluted Delta, so he is going to be able to shuffle away the unwanted cards from his hand there and give him a chance to look at some fresh cards. Meanwhile, Vidi's putting a couple of cards back after the Jace Brainstorm that he's doing. He still has an attack this turn. He in fact does. He's going to drop Donnie down to 3 and put all the pressure on Donnie.
Donnie will sacrifice that Polluted Delta.
He's going to drop him all the way to 2 life here. And what can Donnie get here? Is there anything that he can get out of this mess? It looks pretty unlikely. Even if he drew something to take care of the batter skull, he's still facing down Jace the Mind Sculptor and a full grip from Vidi. It looks like Vidi is very close to winning this. Let's see what Donnie has. He extends the hand. And Vidi is into the semifinals with his version of Esper Stoneblade. So Donnie Peck so close, 1 game away. A great finish for him, a top 8 at the GP level here, and he certainly doesn't have anything to be ashamed of, but it will be Vidi who advances to the semis.
So 4 remain. That'll be Vidi Wijaya that we just saw with the Esper Stoneblade deck. He's going to play against Josh Ravitz in his semifinals match. Josh is on Jund, Vidi's on Esper Stoneblade, just like you saw. The other semifinals match is Pat Cox versus Ryan Pesch. Pat is on Jund also. Ryan is on Rug Delver. The winner of those 2 matches will face against each other